Good. I am so loving watching you here and Maggie. You and Rebecca just have this ease between you. Was there a chemistry read, or did you guys just find this instant connection?
Well, I actually have known Rebecca for a few years as well, and from the last
Yeah.
couple of years, kind of bumping into each other in events and stuff like that, and saying hi to each other again. But when we first had our chemistry read, when she was already cast, and I was auditioning for Ben when we were having that chemistry read. It seemed like we were just having a conversation. You kind of never know what the creators are looking for, really, but all we were really concentrating on is that let's have fun, and we were having a lot of fun. We went off script a lot, and it was one of those things that felt right. And then when we shot the first couple of episodes, it was kind of like riding a bike again, because we did the pilot, then we got picked up, and that was a few months apart. So it was nice to kind of go back and explore our chemistry, and it was just like exactly where we left off. And it's very nice to hear that. So I appreciate it.
What I was left wondering though is after that wonderful time you guys spent together, why he didn't fight for Maggie to to just have this relationship. Was that something that they discussed with you at all, or did they just say he felt it was okay and didn't want to push too far and just let Maggie do what Maggie thinks is best?
I think what's great about working with creators like Maggie Mull and Natalia Anderson and Justin Adler is the idea that there's not one piece of information that we're not talking about. We kind of try to cover all angles. It's never just a short form answer of just do it, or just like, let's just
it's on the page.
Let's just
do
say
it.
exactly. It's like it's on the page. No, they really, and I might have annoyed them a couple of times because I'm one with a lot of questions, but they were very gracious and patient with their time with me in terms of talking about if this is the right, or if this is the decision, what's the meaning behind it, and how is that going to affect Ben in the future. But yeah, I in that particular sense, I don't like being in projects that the questions are answered so quickly, and I think that there's a lot more to the Maggie and Ben story that's yet to be explored that hopefully we'll get to see either of those characters, seeing if they need to really fight for a little bit more, or discovering a newfound relationship, not a newfound relationship, but an on again, off again relationship dynamic between Ben and Jesse. How it will Ben continue to commit to that? These are questions that make TV shows and entertainment just so awesome to watch.
Well, along those lines, it's interesting that Ben seems so accepting that she's a psychic. I think some guys would be a little bit skeptical and B, wary just because someone knows what the future holds the minute they touch your hand.
That's what I loved about it. Got to tell you, that's what I loved about it. The idea that the gift that Maggie has is not entirely the center point. What it really is about, just like life, are the relationships. And to play a character that is so accepting, as you were saying, and not even thinking twice about it, but really caring about who Maggie is as a person, that's something that Ben really, really enjoys. And Ben's also romantic. He's in love with literature and history and the poetry of history, that he just takes life at the present, because if you're teaching to respect history, it can really change your outlook of how to live in your present. And that was something that I was really having fun exploring.
There's such great humor to him, though, as well. I love those little nuances that you bring to those funny moments as well. Were those hard to film? Because sometimes keeping a straight face during those goofy moments is a little bit difficult. I mean, but you made them so charming, though, as well. And I think that's what Maggie really endears about you as well, that you have this charm and this humor that you would think maybe could be your soulmate.
Oh, wow. That's very nice to hear, Jamie. Thank you so much. No, I mean, I think the biggest struggle for me was to try to keep straight face with the rest of the cast. They really brought their A game to the comedy. And, you know, I've played comedic characters before, and it was a nice change for me to kind of take a step back and pass the ball to the other comedic actors for them to take a run with it. And, you know, when it comes to Ben's sense of humor, that was a discussion that we were having in the beginning of the season, that we wanted to explore a leading man character that doesn't take life too seriously, and that was something that we really enjoyed trying to explore. But yeah, those were very nice things that you said. I appreciate it.
But I also love the relationship between Ben and Jesse. Like, I'm not mad at their connection too. Like, you would think that more people would be like, no, I want him to be with Maggie. But there's also part of me that says I like him with Jess, just because they seem to fit so well. And I know they've been high school sweethearts and then college sweethearts. Is that something that they discussed about why he keeps coming back to her?
Well, you know, first of all, it's nice to hear, only because when you're doing a romantic comedy with the love triangle aspect of it, what you want to hear is, oh man, but I love when Ben's with Maggie, or I love when Ben's with Jesse, and that kind of thing. It's always really nice to hear. To your question, it is because we really hadn't seen a relationship, or at least in my recent memory or in my cinephile brain, that I don't see relationships like Jesse and Ben on screen, that they have been together since high school. And also, I have a lot of people in my life that have been with the same person since high school and having on again, off again sort of relationship. And that was something that Chloe, who just plays Jesse so beautifully, that's what we were kind of exploring, that when we were in a fight, we would say, okay, is this the first time that this is happening, this type of fight? And if it is, then let's discover how scary it is, or let's discover how kind of threatening it is, or let's discover how great it is to feel the forgiveness of it. And then there are other times where we like to explore that there's a secondhand language between Jesse and Ben too, that I think that the audience are really going to respond to, going, well, yeah, that's my boyfriend since I was in high school. That's exactly how we are, you know? And also to have the audience going, you know, if you talk to anybody the way Ben talks to Maggie, we're in trouble. That kind of thing, you know. That's a great contrasting force, and something that I really am looking forward for the audience to watch.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how great it is seeing you and Angelique Cabral share scenes as well. I really think that sibling dynamic the two of you have is wonderful. Talk about working with her in those moments. I really think that there's an innate friendship between them. Not many brothers and sisters that I have come across, especially being a sister to a brother as well. I don't have that relationship with my brother where we can come to each other with anything, and we're best friends in that way. You guys do come off as best friends. What kind of familial dynamics did they explore with you as far as their history?
It was easy for Angelique and I to kind of get into the sibling relationship super quick. I mean, the minute we saw each other, we're like, hi, sister, hi, brother. And then we hugged each other and really just dove into sort of our job, but you know, really giving each other the attention that one actor would need to continue to be really, really present with the other person. And, you know, Angelique is just, you know, I feel like I've grown a new talent through this, and that is keeping a straight face when I'm in a scene with Angelique. It's really, really difficult to do so, but she is kind of always available for you. And when you kind of feel that sense of protection from another actor, it really, you know, playing siblings kind of just really falls into your lap, and there's this familial way of sort of both our deliveries that I try to grab from her and she tries to grab from me, so we can kind of sound like each other. And then the other things that we like to explore was what happens when if we're going to be in a sort of fighting scene, you know, where that we're arguing. how do your siblings fight with you, and how do my siblings fight with me? That was something that we really, really enjoyed exploring. And I just think she takes the show with her, and then the same with the rest of the cast. But playing Angelique's brother is a joy.
But did they tell you things like you came possibly from like a single mom home where the two of you had to rely on each other, things like that?
You get a sense of what their family history is, and who, what the parents' situation is. And so the sort of investigation came all from the page. And we did discuss how close of a family we were. There's a great line that Ben says, is that we're not playing Pharaoh, where the rules of the game is that you just get to tell us whatever you want. That is so real when it comes to the type of games that little brother would succumb to when an older sister sets the rules of the game. That is just so real. So we've discussed a lot about family history and where their family is now, for sure.
Well, I know what I love about Maggie, and I think I've gushed a little bit, maybe too much about it so far.
There's never enough gushing about a nice little show like this.
Agreed. So what do you think it is then, from your opinion, as to what's going to make Maggie such a fast fan favorite series?
Listen, I really hope that it's a fast fan favorite. I think what people are going to really respond to is the deep questions that this show presents, right? If you have the gift to look at the future, can you really live in the present? And that is something that, a lot of people who are going to tune in are going to get from, and also be surprised that this isn't your usual romantic comedy. This is a romantic comedy with very, very deep questions. And also, I think that the audience will come along for the ride, because it's not about the actual gift. What it's about are the relationships and that everybody can relate to, that these group of characters can become a well-functioning family and friend group. And I think that it really isn't about, it's not always about the magic, but how the magic in one way or another, in a spiderweb sense, affects everybody. And people want to watch a show that asks deep questions, enjoys the rom-com heart warming feel of it, and also want to see themselves represented. And I think that's what people are going to respond to when they watch this heartwarming piece like Maggie.
Absolutely agree. You fall for it so quickly. Just all of you seem to fit so well, like a perfect puzzle piece. So thank you so much for exploring this wonderful series with me. I really fell for it, and I'm looking forward to more people getting to check it out soon.
Oh, that's really nice of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Those were all of my questions. So I just say be safe and be well, and be ready for season 2.
Oh, from your lips. Thank you.
My pleasure.